Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we actually going to be doing a video on one of the first problems I'm having with the Accord. There seems to be like a stuttering issue, high RPM. So basically, like say a second to third gear pull, or even just starting second gear running into third gear at the top of the RPM range. Basically what it feels like is traction control is kicking on and fuel is being cut. Or it's like, or if I had let off the gas and got back on it very quickly. Basically, the car is stuttering at that high RPM mark, like, you know, right before it shifts. It'll be it's pretty hard to explain. I'll run a few clips that way you can see exactly what it's doing. But since now I have the intake, you could actually hear it, so it's more pronounced. Before I probably wasn't hearing it with the closed box setup, but now since I have the Mishimoto, I'm actually able to hear it. I did feel it and see it, but I just thought it was traction control kicking on because I'm just driving. Sometimes I'm not paying attention and I'm not always focused on exactly what the car is doing. But recently I've noticed it's a little more prominent. It's doing it more often. So I'm gonna run those clips for you just so you can see what it's doing, and I'll show you what I came up with as far as what the fix is for that. So hopefully you were able to see it from the clips. One of the clips I slowed down so you could actually see that factory boost gauge. You could actually see it jump up and down right as it's shifting. And the moving one, you can clearly hear it from the outside of the car. You can clearly hear it. It's making that like that stoot kind of a noise. I don't know how to explain it. But I thought in that video, that's an older video, that was traction control kicking in. It's actually what we believe to be, it's a air bypass control solenoid. It actually controls the factory diverter valve. So it's a little solenoid that's behind the motor. So basically how we came about finding that might be the problem, I'm not 100% sure, so I'm going to swap it out. The part wasn't that expensive. I ran a couple of logs while it was doing that, sent it to the tuner, and the tuner said that he's never seen that much activity under 25 pounds of boost. It's probably this particular part. So I did a little research, found the part number, decided to order it. So, you know, here we go. I'm going to show you how to uninstall the part, reinstall the new one, and then hopefully it fixes that problem. So if you guys are having that problem, I've actually seen a few guys post videos of like intakes and whatnot, and once you put an intake in, now you could actually hear that noise. So the intake's not causing the issue, because I've had a Catn intake prior to this one. It didn't make that noise. It actually started making the noise, and I actually thought it was wheel hop. Turns out it wasn't wheel hop at all. It was actually this. So let's get into the video as far as uninstalling the part and reinstalling the part. So once I get home from work tonight, that's the mission. All right, so let's get into it. Here's the part right here. Let's open it up. Hopefully they sent me the right part. This is the part right here. I'll pull it out of the bag in a second. This is the part number for this part. I'll include that in the description as well. That way you guys know what to replace if you're having this issue. So now this is what the part looks like. This part is located right under this engine cover, and it's mounted back behind here. And I'm going to show you how to get to it. You got to take a few things apart in order to get to this part. But basically what this does is all the vacuum lines go into it, and then it tells your diverter valve, which is over here, more or less what to do, whether to release the boost or hold the boost. So basically I keep losing boost because it keeps coming in and out at high RPM. So hopefully the tuner is correct, and this is the culprit. So let's get into swapping this out, and hopefully it works. These are all the tools you'll basically need. Needle nose plier for the clamps to get off all the hoses, 10mm open end wrench, and a 10mm socket. That's basically all you need to do this job. So let's get started. First and foremost, pull your engine cover, just lift up like so, just to get it off the grommets, like that. Got your little things that it slides into. Put that off to the side. Now the next step is you're going to need to remove this cover. So you're going to have to take this one off, this 10mm bolt, this one off, and this one off. This one doesn't hold this cover down. You're going to need to pull this cover off right here just to make some more room so that you can get to the part behind there. The part is actually here. I'm gonna turn the camera around so you can see it. So as you can see from here, the motor, where my finger is, right in here. Kind of hard to show you, but where is it? This is the part we're replacing right in there. Right here. See these vacuum lines that are going into it? It's really tight, but this is behind the motor over here. Let me see if I can shine a little light for you. Might make it a little easier. Hopefully that helps. There we go. That's the part right there. That's what it looks like from the back side. There's a wire harness, as you can see, right over there, right over here. So now you're going to take your 10mm and you're going to loosen this up. You could just spin those by hand. Same thing for this side. Just break them loose. Same for this one. And then you'll need the socket for this one because you can't get a wrench on that. So I'm going to get these out and I'll show you what that cover looks like removed. So now with the 4 bolts removed, and there, you're just going to remove this plastic piece and you'll gain access to where the wire harness is. You're going to have to lift up on this a little bit and just pop it out. Right here. There's a little groove. And you'll see there's a screw under here, or a nut rather. That's 10mm. You have to take that one out. This is what secures it because it connects into these vacuum lines here. And you're going to have to take this one out. Basically what's going to happen is once you take all of these hoses off, I'll show you step by step. This piece is going to slide under the harness and then you're going to pull it out from back here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to undo all these vacuum lines first before I start loosening anything, and then we'll go from there. What I find helps to get these off is use a small open-end wrench and kind of just use the wrench to help pry the rubber off. That way you don't make any cuts in it, and they come off quite easily that way. Basically just push down with the wrench, and as you can see, all the lines are off. So this side is free, and part of the PVC over here for my oil catch can. You can see there's a, if you don't have an oil catch can, you may not need to remove this one, but this is a thick hose. So the hose that connects into the crankcase here, you could just pop it off to make it easier to remove that piece. So I'm gonna pull that stuff off and then I'll show you what it looks like. So now the back 2 lines are off. We don't have to remove the other 2 because they're actually connected to this part. We'll do that after. So we're gonna use our 10mm and we're gonna loosen this rail that holds everything together. And now for this other bolt that's right in here, going under the harness, that's why you need to lift it. This little angled 10mm helps. It's a little tight in there. All you need to do is break that one loose, and then you can basically spin it out by hand once you get in there. I find that to be the easiest way. Okay, so now as I'm spinning it by hand, the last few spins, make sure you grab it and don't let it fall. Just going to use 2 fingers and kind of manipulate it. And then I'm going to grab it from the back side, put it up here. And now, don't forget to disconnect your wire harness right here just by squeezing and pulling out. I'll do that off camera because I'm holding the camera. I don't want to drop anything. And then you'll see this whole piece, which has the valve connected to it, is ready to come out. Okay, here's the fun part, getting it out. So now that you have the wire harness a little loose, you gain a little room. You're going to just slide it through and pivot it up. You can see I'm coming up through the back. This is the whole piece. You just got to slide it through. It takes a little wiggling, figure out the angle to get it out on, but it will come out. And here's your piece. So this is what it looks like removed. Those are the other two vacuum lines we got to pull out. It's mounted in the car basically like this. So you're going to have to undo this 10mm bolt to swap out that piece right there. So I'm going to pull these hoses off, and I'm going to start putting the new piece on. I just want to note, while removing this bolt right here, you don't want to put a lot of force on this, just in case you bend them, crack them. Then you'll have an even bigger problem. I'm sure you could always replace it with the hose, because it's just vacuum lines at the end of the day, but you don't want to do it, so don't start squeezing it. Kind of just hold it from here, get your wrench on it like so, and just give it a good hard twist, and then this is how it's removed. Put that off to the side. Now the valve is going to come out. Then I just got to pull these vacuum lines out. So there you have it. That's your old one. This is your new one. Gonna put this one back on the bracket and reassemble. Okay, so we're all put back together. Got the new valve on there, or new solenoid rather, and I'm going to run it back under the same way I took it out. So easiest way is coming from back here and feeding it through. It is a little tight, so you're gonna have to just manipulate it, maybe go upside down, the same twist I did getting it out. Feed it through like so, and then you can give it a twist downward and just lift up on your harness. And as you can see, it's seating just fine. Pull the camera off. It's seated just fine. Everything is back where it's supposed to be. All you would have to do is connect all your lines back in. There's the valve located right back here. And as you see, the PVC line for my oil catch can, this line right here, this is the one I told you to remove earlier. It plugs in right underneath there. So the reason I said to take it out is because it just gives you more clearance to slide this out along with that. Okay, so when putting this back bolt back in right over here, put this one in first. That way you don't have a lot of movement on this end. And I recommend using a magnet. That way you don't have to fish the bolt out. So get the magnet, put it on like that. Then if you lift the harness, you can kind of just get it into position so you don't have to fish it out. Like so, like right now I have it right in the spot. Pull the magnet out, and then I could just use 2 fingers just to get it started. The other way, you might just drop it and basically going to thread it in the whole way like that. So now I got it started. I can get it all the way down just by using my 2 fingers, and then I'll just tighten it down with the wrench, because it's kind of an awkward spot, pretty hard to get to. So that's already finger tight, that's finger tight. I'll get in there with my open end and lock it down. Okay, so the part is actually fully installed. All the hoses are back on. Don't forget the PVC line. I'm just going to button it up, install this plastic piece where it belongs, put the cover back on and all that, and we'll take it for a test drive, and hopefully it's fixed. After all that work, I hope I didn't do it for nothing. either way, you guys know how to do this job if you have a problem with that particular part. Alright guys, so we're on our first test drive. I haven't gotten on it yet. I'm letting the car warm up before I try anything. So far it feels normal, no lights, anything, so the swap over is good. Hopefully that is what's causing that hesitation, you know, the diverter valve to keep opening and closing when it shouldn't. So hopefully that'll get rid of that hesitation that is really, or that stutter that's really getting on my nerves. And it's actually hurting performance, because right before the car shifts, it kind of just, it's almost like traction control kicks in and it kind of falls on its face. So as soon as I get to a clear area, I'll do a few pulls, and I'm praying this is it. I don't want to have to do anything else to get rid of this little problem. It was actually a pretty inexpensive part though. I got it online from an OEM parts website. I could put the link in the description for you guys. I got it for $70 shipped, which is actually a really good price for that part. A lot of people have back ordered. These people actually had it, and I got it in about 3 days. It was pretty quick. So good service from those guys. I forgot the exact name of the company. I just price searched and it worked out. So glad I did. And like I said, I'll put it in the description. So let's get to a good destination, and hopefully I'm out of this little dilemma that I'm in. This is actually the first problem I'm having with this car. This car's been really good to me, so I really can't complain. So I'm not so upset, but I don't want to have to go to the dealer and start troubleshooting, because that's just, to me, it's annoying. So let's get to that destination. Okay, so we're gonna do our first, second to third gear pull. Let's pray. No, problem's still there. Still doing it. Oh, I don't know. I guess I'm gonna have to see what else it could be. Oh man, I'm not too happy right now. Change a part for no reason. Man, I really wish it was that. The tuner was pretty sure that was it, according to what he wrote, but unfortunately it's not. I'll do a few more pulls, but I just heard it, so I think that was a fail. That was a fail. Damn it. Alright, let me do a few more pulls. Alright, let's give it another try. Here we go. Nope, still there. Oh boy. Well, at least you guys have a good video on how to install that piece if you do need it. I didn't need it. But, alright guys. Wow, that sun is crazy. Jeez. Whew. Alright guys, well, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. We're going to follow up on what this problem potentially is. I'm still getting that little sputter at the top of the RPM range. I'm gonna switch back to the stock intake just to rule it out, but I don't see the intake being the issue for that, to be honest, because it was doing it with the my closed box setup with the Catn intake. I actually thought it was wheel hop, so there's obviously something going on with, I don't know, the tune, maybe spark plugs, but we're gonna have to keep working on it. All right guys, so as you can see, that definitely wasn't the problem. Pretty bummed out. Had to collect my thoughts a little bit. I'm just gonna keep trying to figure out what the problem is. I hope it's nothing big. Maybe the diverter valve itself is faulty. Maybe it's something with the tune. But I ran a log, and the tuner didn't seem to think that it had anything to do with the tune. It was hardware. So I'm gonna contact them again, see what they have to say about me replacing this particular part, and see where I go from there as far as troubleshooting. So guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. And I'm hopefully going to update you guys on this, because I would like to get this sorted out. The car runs still really, really strong. It's just right when it shifts between the second to third that it's doing that, which I find really, really annoying, because it's a performance loss when you're trying to increase the performance of the car. The higher gears, it's barely noticeable. So on a day-to-day basis, you don't really notice it much, to be honest. So it's not an end of the world thing, but I want the car to run properly as it's set up. I don't want to have anything, well, it does this while that happens because of this. I don't want that. So I'm going to try to figure it out, and we'll go on from there. So thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you next time.